Hello everyone and welcome to the spring semester of CEP 200. So if you are looking for intro to the counseling professions, you are in the right place. I am Dr. Gray. I'm going to be teaching you this semester, and I am also the one who developed this course. So I'm going to go through pretty in-depth with you as far as the syllabus, what to expect from the course, and, just expectations that you and I can also kind of expect from one another. So after this welcome video, if you still have any questions about the course, please feel free to email me. But what I will do here is I'll go through for the welcome video, and then I'm also going to tie in the Unit 1 just because I think it pairs nicely as we go through and we talk a little bit about the syllabus and how that kind of works out. So first and foremost, CEP 200, the first thing I always want to kind of make you aware of is what we're going to be doing in this course. So I've had a lot of students come to the course and say, I'm really looking forward to, learning about the counseling professions, how to work with clients, treatment interventions, and, kind of like about the counseling process. That's not something that we're really going to learn in this course. So the way that this course is set up, you are going to learn about the different counseling professions that are available in the field. So we're going to talk about mental health counseling, organizational counseling, school counseling, addictions counseling, creative arts and therapy, and all of that stuff. And so while we aren't going to really learn about specific interventions, the way that I have the course set up is that in each unit, you're going to be exposed to clients or situations that you might typically experience if you were in that counseling profession. So for example, when we talk about like adolescent and family counseling, you're going to learn about the adverse childhood experience, the study, and how, that might impact the clients that you're working with. When we get into the college counseling and student advising, we're going to talk about, suicide and whatnot, because that is something that we see commonly on college campuses. So you are going to learn primarily about that counseling profession, but I'd like to add in those extra elements of what you might encounter as someone working in that profession with that clientele. So that is the way that I have the course set up. We will briefly kind of go through like cognitive behavior therapy and stuff like that, but not in terms of like how you would take that and apply it in a counseling session and working with clients. So please just know that's not something that we are going to talk about or learn about in this course. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the syllabus with you. So if you want to pull that up, we went through the course description, talked a little bit about expectations. This class is fully online, mostly self-paced, not completely. We will get to that. You have 2 weeks for every unit. So like I said, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Hopefully you were able to get your hands on the textbook. The information for the textbook, I believe I released in the course shell last week. Any other supplemental material such as articles, YouTube videos, and that kind of stuff will be provided for you in the unit folders. If you haven't yet had a chance to kind of go through everything, make sure you browse around. Everything is set up like super user-friendly and super simple because I'm an organized freak and I like things to be kind of there when you need them to be without searching for them. So we are going to talk a little bit now about the course requirements. So one of the things that I want to make sure I don't forget are deadlines. So we're going to go through, at some point, talk a little bit about the tracking calendar and, the assignments and whatnot. But I have had to be a little strict with late assignments. But I make it very easy to get an extension. So like I mentioned, your materials are going to be due every 2 weeks. And, I just taught a winter course where students did the entire semester in 3 weeks. Hard, but doable. So you should be able to get all of one unit's work done in 2 weeks. I like to set it up that way just because it gives you more time. I understand this is not the only course that you're going to be taking right now, but also it gives me a little bit of time to get to grading because I do teach 2 full sections of this course. So we're looking at like 70 assignments, and then you usually have 2 or 3 things due every unit. So we're looking at around like 200 assignments plus after every unit. So with the due dates, you will submit everything on Sundays at 11:59. If you need an extension, you need to email me before Sunday at 11:59 and just let me know what's going on. You'll get an email back from me just saying, hey, no problem, make sure you have it in by this time, or how much time do you need, or it's approved. So as long as you email me before the due date and time, you're usually in a good spot. But if you don't say anything at all and then you try to submit it late, I really struggle with that. I know that things happen and life happens, but I've been burned by a number of students in the past. So I just need to make sure that I'm still holding you accountable while still being a little lenient. So just remember that if anything ever comes up, please don't email me like late in the semester asking to hand in stuff from the beginning of the semester. That's not easy for anyone involved. So just keep that in mind. As far as grading goes, I have everything graded and returned to you by the end of the following unit. So everything for Unit 1 is going to be due in 2 weeks. I'll have everything graded by the end of Unit 2. So I give myself 2 weeks after that due date to have everything back to you. Sometimes I give feedback. Sometimes, things look really good. There's no feedback to offer. You get a full score. So I just kind of leave it at that. But if you're ever docked points for anything, I'm always going to give you feedback as to what I was looking for. So keep that in mind. So getting to the assignments. So in this course, you're going to have 5 unit assignments. They're each worth 20 points. You're going to have 4 discussion boards that are worth 25 points. 3 quizzes worth 25 points, 5 journals worth 20 points, and then 1 paper or project, if you will. That's 125 points. So, unit assignments. Unit assignments are one of the only ways that I know in this course that you are processing the material, it's making sense, and you're retaining it. So with unit assignments, you need to be making sure each of your responses to every question are at least 200 to 250 words in length. Okay, so that's for each question. I used to tell students, make sure you're giving me a substantial response with like a good reflection. A lot of people struggled with like what that looked like. So now I've kind of turned to a word count. So make sure you do that. For discussion boards, there's two elements to discussion boards. First of all, you're going to have your initial post. So whether it's, reflecting on an article or reflecting on a TED Talk or something, you're going to make your initial post, which needs to be between 200 and 250 words. That response is worth 15 points. You then have to go and comment on 2 of your classmates' posts. Each of those are 5 points each. So in total, every discussion board is worth 25 points, but you get the first 15 from your response and you get the 10 points from responding to your 2 classmates. So you are going to respond to your classmates' post on every discussion board except for when you are just listing the topic of your advocacy paper, because that's not technically a discussion board assignment, and we'll get into that in just a second. Quizzes. We have 3 quizzes. They are not meant to be tricky. They are not timed, but you do only get 1 attempt for them. So please don't open it and then, try to take a glance at the questions and then close out of it. And, I had students who would do that and then they'd email me asking for me to reopen it. So let's just make sure when you sit down, you get 1 attempt to do it. But what I will tell you is if you watch every unit video, I give you 2 answers to the quizzes in every unit video. For every unit that there is a unit video, you're going to get responses or answers to 2 of the questions. So make sure you're watching those. Journal prompts are also going to be in the unit videos for that corresponding unit. Again, thoughtful 200, 250 word responses. You'll be golden. And then papers and projects. So your paper that you're going to do is worth 100 points, but you have to post your topic for approval in a discussion board, and doing that is going to get you another 25 points. So we will talk about the advocacy paper. I'll probably start talking about it next unit just because we have a little while, but if you want to start thinking now about a population that you're passionate about or that you think is a vulnerable population that could use advocating for, start thinking about it a little bit more because you could do your paper on them. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in the upcoming weeks. So I talked about grading, I talked about final grades, talked about extensions, accessibility services. That information's in the syllabus. Academic integrity. We need to have a chat about academic integrity. So I put this in my unit videos every semester. With academic integrity, you cannot use another student's paper. You cannot reuse one of your own papers or assignments. You cannot copy and paste information from the internet and utilize it as your own. I see it every semester, whether it's a student using an assignment or half an assignment from another student, who previously took the course, or copying and pasting information found on websites, or typing verbatim, things that come from your book. I run everything through SafeAssign, and SafeAssign is a program that literally will pick up any type of plagiarism. Please don't do it. It's so uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me. I know it's not comfortable for you, but we do have to report any indication of plagiarism to the department. So let's just avoid that and not do that, okay? All right. Let's see. Technology recommendations. We do have UBIT if you do have any issues with the UB Learns and whatnot. So before I get into the course schedule, one of the things that I want to do is I just want to do more of an introduction to myself. So one of the reasons why I absolutely love teaching this course is because I myself have worked in most of these counseling professions. So I am a clinical mental health counselor. I am a certified rehabilitation counselor. I am an addictions counselor. I have served in, advising as far as like colleges, career counseling. I've worked with children as well as families, as well as couples. I utilize some elements of expressive arts. I have not served in the capacity of an organizational counselor, but I have taught an entire course on organizational counseling. I'm not fluent in pastoral counseling as far as experience, but everything else I have pretty much served in that role. So I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of the counseling professions, what they entail, what you need to do in order to serve as one, and that kind of thing. So I've been in the counseling field for quite some time, and I received, all of my degrees from UB. So if you have any questions as far as like a counseling profession, grad school programs UB offers, or anything like that, like give me a shout and let me know. But you will learn a lot about these counseling professionals. And so when I do create the unit material, it's coming from a place of awareness or experience. So please just let me know if you have any questions or you're interested in anything. So for the course schedule, which is that last part of your syllabus, we're going to go through, I call this the tracking calendar. So these are going to be everything that's due every unit, as well as the corresponding dates that unit starts and ends. So you'll see the introduction to the course. If you haven't done this yet, that's okay. I don't expect anyone to start doing coursework before the semester starts. So if you need to go back and do discussion board number 1, please do. Acknowledge that you've reviewed the syllabus and watched this video. Introduce yourself to the class. So just make sure you familiarize yourself with the syllabus, the course materials in UB Learns, watch this video, read chapter number 1 in Helkowski, and that's your book, and complete the discussion board. So Unit 1 starts today on January 30th, and you'll see this all the way on the left-hand column for Unit 1, and it's going to end at 11:59 p.m. on February 12th. So again, 2 weeks. The next column you have, what are our topics for this week? So we're going to pretty much introduce ourselves to the counseling profession, talk about the professional orientation, the code of ethics, and connecting with the profession. So what you're going to do in this, center column, these are all the assignments that are due. So you're going to watch this video. You are going to read Chapter 2 in Helkowski. There is a supplemental article in there, the ACA Code of Ethics. Don't feel like you have to go through and read this word for word. Skim it through, take a look, see what jumps out at you. You are going to reflect on it in the first unit assignment. So just familiarize yourself with it and take a look at what it looks like. You're going to read two supplemental articles. Watch Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. Before I talk about that, let me go back to the articles really quick. So with these research articles, I don't expect you to be fluent in research and what it means as an undergrad. You don't really get too much into that depending on your major until grad school. So for these, really all you need to focus on reading is the introduction and the discussion. So you don't have to read all that meat in between, such as like the methods and the results and all of that, because none of that's probably going to make sense. So just get an idea of like what they're trying to study in this article, and then jump to the end where they talk about what their findings were, and they kind of talk about it in like plain language in the discussion piece. So that's all you have to worry about for any supplemental articles that we include in this course. As far as the Power of Vulnerability video, a lot of people have seen this. It has grown in popularity, but I am a sucker for Brene Brown, and I love this video, and it's very, very applicable to counseling as well as our connections with other people. So you are going to watch that. You're going to submit the Unit 1 assignment, complete journal reflection number 1, and then also complete quiz number 1. So what I need to do really quick is just go in and get your reflection for journal number 1, and then give you the 2 quiz questions for quiz number 1. So to get your freebies for you. So let's take a look here. So we have, let's see, courses. Don't forget for discussion board number 1, let's make sure you go through and comment on 2 of your classmates' posts as well. So don't forget to do that. So for journal reflection number 1, so the APA requires some accredited programs to incorporate cultural competency training into their curriculum. In what formats do you think such training would be most effective or beneficial? So for example, taking a multiculturalism course, interaction with clients or students from various cultural backgrounds, like what format do you think is going to be the best? And I want you to give me an idea of like the format that you think would work best for everyone. And then what format would you personally prefer? So for some people, they think that they learn differently from others, and they think, okay, so this is how I think everyone else would benefit from this, but I prefer this. So if it's the same, like if you prefer what you're also going to suggest for other people, that's great too, but just reflect on that a little bit for me. So remember, 200 to 250 words. There is a journal section on the left-hand toolbar when you open up the course. So unit content, let's take a look at the quiz. So all drop boxes are also included in the unit folders. It's the one that has like the bolded and underlined title of the assignment. That's your drop box. You can just click on it. So I'm going through the quiz. Okay, so the first question that I'm going to give you is, the question is, if you obtain a license to practice as a counselor in one particular state, you are able to automatically transfer that professional license to another state. The answer to this is false. So when we take a look at certifications, like when we talk about certified rehabilitation counselors, that's a nationwide exam. So you can take that certification and move to any state. When we're talking about licensure, though, especially with mental health counselors, some states recognize them as LMHCs, which is a licensed mental health counselor, and some other states refer to them as LPCs, so licensed professional counselors. Those are two separate exams. So what happens is you would have to apply for your licensure in any other state that you move to, or apply to take the other exam if that's the exam that that state goes by for mental health counselors. So basically, if you get licensed in New York State, that license is only good for New York State. You cannot practice in any other state or provide services for anyone in another state. So the answer to that is false. The other question I'm going to give you, the question is, a professional counselor is considered to be a clinician with a master's degree or higher. The answer to this is true. So yeah, sure, you might be able to get a job as a counselor with a bachelor's degree, but you're not eligible for licensure or anything like that until you have a master's degree. So that's what they consider to be a professional counselor. So once you have that license and all of that stuff. So the answer to this is true. So let me know if you have any questions or concerns with that. But like I said, make sure you go through and familiarize yourself with the course and what's in each of these, folders. Like I said, it's supposed to be pretty accessible, so hopefully it's not too confusing. But other than that, when we are talking about like communication, if you email me, I generally tend to respond in 24 to 48 hours. So with me, I work 3 different jobs. So I work full-time at a nonprofit clinic providing mental health and or addiction counseling to individuals in the community. So I do that full-time. And then I also run my own private practice on the side where I see clients, usually in the evening hours. And then I also teach at UB. So sometimes I get overloaded with emails, and so it takes a day or two for me to respond sometimes. Sometimes I'm really quick and I'm able to get back to you right away. But if you don't hear from me, give me a day or two and things should be good. And I think that's pretty much everything. If I forget anything, I'll make an announcement. But yeah, if you have any questions, any comments, any difficulties, anything like that, just shoot me an email and let me know. But other than that, I'm very much looking forward to this semester, and just let me know whatever it is that you need. And I will be posting another unit video on the first day of Unit 2. All right, take care, everyone.